guys, welcome back to Castle Plans. Today I'm going to be creating my social media planner, and for this one I am using dot grid paper from one of the Happy Notes pages, and I am basically creating like a bullet journal version of a social media planner. So as you can see, I'm using a Uniball Vision fine liner. It's just like a standard pen. It's not more like a marker like some of the fine liners I typically use. And in this case, I would actually suggest using a normal fine liner. My original reason for using it was so that I could get a finer line, but it ended up being kind of difficult to keep the pen going because it's not a marker. So the ink would get a little weird. Anyways, I drew out boxes for all of the different platforms that I would need and just went to town on lining those in. As you can see, it's a fairly simple spread. I really do like having that hand-drawn look and that it's not super polished. And of course, if you wanted a more polished look, you could definitely go for like using a ruler and doing all that, but really I pre-plan out where the boxes are going to be with pencil, and then I go back in with pen and just draw them out. So in this case, I did have 4 main areas that I wanted to focus on for my social media and just planner in general. So this week I made space for all of that and then did subdividers for some of the categories as well, which you'll definitely see come together. So, like most of the Happy Planner spreads, I left room on the left-hand side for, in this case, it's the headers kind of for what each row is going to be about, but it's kind of like a teacher planner. I definitely pulled some inspiration from the adapted teacher planners. If you've ever seen Heather from Calico Plan, she does lots of spreads where she'll switch up how she uses the teacher planner and makes it work for social media, and I really think it's a great idea, but obviously I don't have one of those, so I went for a bullet journal version of that within the Happy Notes. And you can see here I was starting to struggle with keeping the lines consistent. Part of the problem with using a pen instead of a marker here is that if you go back over it, the line is much thicker, whereas if you go over a marker, it's a lot easier to control how big that line gets. So yeah, I did end up having to go and start doing like multiple passes to get a solid line, which definitely affected how the whole thing turned out. So then I quickly lettered in all of my platforms and what I wanted to track. So for this week, I was looking at my Instagram and what posts I wanted to put up there, and then the stats for my how many posts I have versus how many followers I have. And then I also left space for my YouTube, and that'll just be what videos are going up on what day. And then I have my filming, so what videos I'm filming throughout the week. And then the last one is for Pinterest, which is actually going to end up being a to-do list because I am not pursuing Pinterest as I thought I would be. And I did go back and add a stats area for YouTube as well. I thought it would be interesting to kind of track where I'm at as I am uploading more videos. And of course I just made it the same size as the stats box for the Instagram column, or row rather. And I do like the way that it kind of broke up the page a little bit. It really made it easier to define where everything was. So then with the same mild liner, I went back and added in the days of the week. So then for each of the boxes I added dots for the Instagram so I could write down what I was putting on my feed and my story that day. And then the little line on the stats column is just a divider for how many posts I have versus how many followers I have. And then for the YouTube and stats and filming, I really didn't need any extra decorations there. However, the Pinterest column did get some dots. And just to polish everything off and make it look the way I wanted it to look, I went ahead and came back through with an eraser because obviously before I started recording, I did add pencil to tell me where my boxes needed to go. So I erased that, and then I added a little drop shadow with that same mild liner that I've been using throughout. And one little tip is to really utilize the two different ends of the mild liner. I know for probably like the first few weeks I had the mild liners, I didn't even realize that it had two tips on it, but it actually has a chisel tip and then just a standard marker. And for getting in between the columns on this page, that marker really came in handy. And you know, it just adds a little bit of extra color, but I really appreciate the way that it turned out. I think one thing that I really do like about doing these bullet journals type spreads is that you get to figure out what colors you like and where you want everything, and it's truly customizable. You don't have to follow any other plans, you just do what works for you, and I love that, especially in something like this where not everyone uses the same platforms, not everyone uses, the same measurements for how they're doing, so I think it's really important to be able to customize. And just to finish off, I added July in my cute little cursive, and that really finished it off. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day to sit down and plan with me for this social media planner. I hope you learned something. Be sure to like and comment on this video if you enjoyed it, and if you really enjoyed it and want to see more, subscribe to my channel.